Stay tuned because next up is The Hop with Village Properties Realtor David Charles Allen. He's here to tell us all about real estate in Santa Barbara.
Welcome to The Hop. This is David Charles Allen, Realtor at Village Properties in Santa Barbara, California, with my great friend and co-host, Patty Teal. I'm doing wonderful today. Patty, how you doing?
I'm doing well too, David.
Good to hear. We got sunny skies here in Santa Barbara. Looking ahead to temperatures scattered throughout the 70s, maybe a little bit of clouds, but mostly sunny. So it's about time. We're going to hear a lot of people saying how hot it is. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's very funny. I know parts of California, though, have gotten very hot. I was watching the national weather this morning, but it hasn't really gotten hot in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, if you go just like a half hour inland, you're going to get some heat. That's for sure. Temperatures 90s, 100s. Right. So we have that coastal breeze, which kind of protects us a little bit more.
Right. For those of you who don't know, Santa Barbara only gets hot about 1 week in the whole entire year, maybe two. Otherwise, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, usually it's September. It always was when like the first day of going back to school, you get
You're so right.
In like the 90s. It's that 1 week, but other than that, usually we're pretty well off.
That's true.
And then no real waves to report either. So, any more heat coming up, it'll be nice to get in the water, but there's a lot of water activities you can do without having waves present as well. Right.
A lot of fun you can have at the beach, whether there's waves or not.
That's true. And then in terms of interest rates, how they're performing, we're at 6.25% 30-year jumbo and 6.625% for 30-year conforming. So a pretty steep drop since last week. We pushed over 7% for
I remember that.
Side.
Well, that's very good news.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I don't know if anyone's really been able to predict what's going on, but almost a 0.5% change in just a week. So, it's hard to really time the market, and that 0.5% really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Then in terms of how the statistics have performed, we're at 46 new listings, 22 price changes, 31 that closed, 22 that went pending, 9 back on the market, and 8 coming soon. So pretty substantial back on the market in terms of 9. It's good. We're in the upper 40s in terms of new listings, and then only 22 pending. So does that mean everything's kind of slowing down? Is summer's kind of getting in full swing, kind of in the middle of summer? Are buyers not really interested quite yet, or they've already found what they're looking for? Going to be pretty interesting coming up to the end of this year when everything really does slow down, and we'll see how that affects the market as well.
Right. That will be really interesting to watch. Do things generally slow down in the fall when kids are going back to school that time of year or not?
Yeah, I'd say it starts slowing down again, probably October.
Kind of thinking about getting into the holidays.
Yes, it really starts slowing down in October. But I mean, that push is usually from like April to June. And some people are still trying to get in before the school year starts, but some people just have summer plans. It's all going to be really variant. Like that really strong part of the year is either after the new year in January or kind of like April to May to June. That's when you really see a lot of buyer traffic. And then towards the end of the year is usually it's a little bit slower.
Right. Well, thanks for explaining that. And David, I'm so interested in what you're doing with your new other business in addition to real estate. If anyone missed last week's show, it's called Chowdees.com, CHOWDEES. David and I are both animal lovers. In particular, David has 4 dogs and a cat. Do I have the count right, David?
Yeah, I have 3 dogs, 2 cats.
Oh, well, I'm behind times. I have to hear about that, and then we'll hear about Chowdees. I only knew about the one kitty cat.
Oh, yeah. Sarah, my girlfriend, had another cat as well, so it's just part of the family, too. It kind of likes to be more of a wild cat. It comes home.
Oh, I see.
Like maybe at nighttime to eat, but it likes to live in the streets. It's kind of a funny cat.
It's a partly a feral cat, but it's your cat, too.
Yeah, exactly. It prefers to just be outside. Can't really do anything about it. If you try and keep it inside, it just goes crazy. So you're just like, all right, well, kind of
Right.
got to do what you got to do.
Right. I understand that. My grandparents had a farm and there were a lot of feral cats around, but we never got them very tame, put out food for them, but they weren't too much wanting to be in the house. So I do understand.
Yeah, they just want to live their own.
Live their life in freedom. I can get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say
Yeah.
how to not going to try and keep them in a cage when
Yeah.
they don't want to be there. So
Right. So David has a very strong interest in nutrition for both people and for animals. And he tries to do the very best to keep his animals healthy, as we all want to do. So he came up with a dog treat. So I'll let him share the story from this point.
yeah, if you heard it last week, we basically tried to create or are creating something where you can treat your dogs in a healthy way and you know what you're giving them, you know the benefits of them, and be happy about feeding them the treats that they deserve. Essentially, it's organic. Everything we're trying to do is organic or wild. We're trying to make it a raw treat as well. By freeze drying it, it's going to retain most of the nutrients and it's going to be able to be shelf stable and take it on the go. And everyone we've given them to so far is really, really receptive of them. Like say, my dog doesn't ever get trained, but we break out these treats and it'll listen to whatever we do. So it's kind of funny.
My dogs, actually, both of them, they're not interested in treats like that they give them at a store. They just kind of turn up their nose. I feel bad because I never want to hurt the storekeeper's feelings, but they're just kind of like, no, I don't think so. But these chowdies, oh my gosh, they are crazy about them. So it's so wonderful that they're also good for you. And I don't want to badmouth any other brands out there, but I would say the majority, I'm just guessing, I would like your opinion of the treats that you buy at the grocery store are maybe not that healthy.
You know, it's maybe not that they're not healthy. There's so many different things that usually go into a typical treat to make them shelf stable. And
I
that's
see.
usually because they are preserved in a certain way. So a lot of these companies that are bigger, they mass produce these treats and they have all these different distributors. They have all these different layers they got to go through. So maybe the treats that you're buying in the store, maybe they were made 2 years ago and they're just reaching the shelf right now. So to be able to sell something like that, you have to put all these ingredients that aren't necessarily necessary. And by doing that, it gives the company the potential to sell it through all these different avenues. So what we're trying to do and change that, we wanted to make it small batch. We wanted to preserve the freshness. So when it gets to you, it's peak freshness. And we wanted to do it in a way where we didn't have to add any of those ingredients. So we were able to come up with the process of freeze drying it, which basically harnesses and locks in all those nutrients while making it shelf stable. And the way we package it, it can potentially last 20 years if you don't.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't open your jar, you can keep the jar stored in a cool, dark place for probably 20 years and you'll open it. It'll be just as fresh as it was before. But they don't do it that way. So what we're doing is changing the way we do our process, making it only single ingredient, the one thing that really matters, and making our process and our packaging in a way where it does preserve whether or not it's a year or 2 years. We're trying to do it small batch so everyone gets it fresh to them. And if they want to keep it for a while, if they want to stock up on treats, so to say, and have a kind of reserve, as long as they don't open the jar initially, then you're going to have something that will preserve for potentially years, if not 20, 30 years. I think that was the slogan for most freeze dries things, is preserve it up to 30 years. So that's kind of what we're doing. That's different from what you'll find in the stores that have all these things in it that maybe your dog doesn't really need, but the treat needs, the company needs it in that to be able to sell it through stores.
I got you. Well, that's a great explanation. Another thing that's unique about Chowdies is it's for both dogs and cats. Generally, you go down one aisle for the cats and one aisle for the dogs, but both of them like it and it's good for both of them.
Yeah, it's great for both of them. So if you're going with the raw diet or the Mother Nature's model where it's raw foods, organs, and bones, both dogs and cats are naturally carnivores. So both need that organ meat and the bone and the meat, the regular meat in their diet to give them the beneficial nutrients that they would get if they were naturally in the wild, so to say.
Wow. David, I think you've really come up with a winner here. And if people are listening and they have dogs or cats and they want to give them healthy treats, how could they order Chowdees?
You can go on our website. It's chowdees.com, CHOWDEES. And we're looking to do a couple different events and vendors things. And we'll have an event calendar on our website as well once that comes about. So if you always want to just check in, see what's happening, just go to our website. You can sign up for a newsletter, keep you updated on all that stuff. And we're kind of going from there.
Oh, that sounds great. And of course, we want to go back around and have people remember that you are a realtor, Village Properties. And how would they reach you if they're interested in buying or selling a home?
Yeah, my number is 805-617-9311. And my email is david@davidcharlesallen if you ever have any questions or just want a little knowledge of Santa Barbara market.
Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome, Patty. Let's give it a go next week.
Bye.